Yeah, all right. Welcome back. Welcome everybody to the Fundamentals of Fundamentals podcast. I don't know. Still don't know about this name. I'm like 30 episodes in. Still don't love it. But I have a very special guest today. I have to always say that so that no one gets slighted, But yeah. I do once again, I seem to not invite people on unless I really like them and really excited to have them on. So like, here we go. I got a guy that I met about a month ago. We sat next to each other in the Grassroots conference for some time. Got to know you a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
And then, things progressed, I guess. So, okay, who do I have? I got Jhonny. I call you Jhonny Delgado Fuego.
That's fine. Yeah.
Is that a good name for you?
All of those names work, man. I feel like a lot of people call me Del Fuego, Del Gato, Jhonny. Jhonny
Delgado,
here the least,
So Delgado that's the pronunciation? Delgado.
No.
Oh, okay.
You said it right.
Oh, Delgado.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Some people think is your last name is off the cat? They think it says gato, like gat. But no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying some people do recognize me that way. Or they call me Jhonny Fuego. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. I get that. Okay. When you were when I was thinking about you as in the context of you going to see Phish at the Sphere, which delighted me to no end to find out, I was thinking of you as Jhonny Fuego.
Yes.
Because you may or may not know, but Phish has a song and an album called Fuego.
No. Wow.
Yeah.
All the connections, man.
And it's I know it's a very common word. However, that's a really it's a special album for a variety of reasons. But it's Phish. One of the things Phish became known for was that in 1994 they started this Halloween tradition where they would cover an album. So like in 94 they covered the Beatles' White Album, which I've spent some time contrasting to another Halloween where another white thing came out called the White Paper, right? So
okay, yeah.
So like there's this tradition but there's this Halloween tradition that started with the White Album by the Beatles, and then they started doing all these covers called costume sets. They did the Who's Quadrophenia, they did Talking Heads, Remain in Light, and on, many number of them, and then they had a permanent breakup, and then they came back in 2009. Not sure if you knew this, but they came back in 2009 from like they were broken up and done for good. And somehow some energy existed in the world in 2009 that Phish said, okay, we want to come back. Maybe it coincided with Bitcoin being launched. Maybe not. I don't know. I tend to think it is. Anyway, in 2012, Phish decided to do a Halloween set where they covered their own album. So like they basically launched a new album as the Halloween set, even though like it became one of those like things where the fans like all argue, what are they going to do? Dark Side of the Moon. Like everybody always had these endless debates. And this particular year, 2012, they debuted their own album, which was called Fuego. And so Fuego kind of is a line demarker of really Phish saying, we are evolving into something. We're just evolving into something different so that we can have longevity and be built to last and do this forever. And so that the Fuego thing always sits with me, and now I associate you with that. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. That's amazing. This is funny though because as people may not know, Fuego is because I make hot sauce, and that's the name of the hot sauce, Delgado's Fuego. And the name didn't get going until very later. And that came more because at that time, people used to say, hey, your hot sauce is fire. My last name is Delgado's Fuego. I just made it easy for myself, right? Mm. But now that you give me this whole story, all right, so the way it started was because my dad would make hot sauce. I didn't really do much hot sauce. I mean, as most would do like Cholula, whatever was on the table.
Yeah.
But my dad's birthday is July 4th. And ever since he lived in Peru, he wanted to come to the United States because he's like, everybody celebrates my birthday like huge, fireworks. And that's what we always love, fireworks. But anyway, so I lived in Wilmington, then I came back to Charlotte, and we would have all these big parties for my dad's birthday. And my mom would make all this delicious Peruvian food, and my dad would make the hot sauce. And I want to say now that I think I had to research, but for now, I'm going to say that I think it was around 2012 when we really started doing that. But it wasn't until later on when people were like, hey, can I get a little bit of this? Because it was like New Year's Eve parties and July 4th parties. And we'll have the hot sauce. The one hot sauce, the Sabancaya is what we call it now. It's the hottest one we got. But it wasn't until maybe 2015 is when I started kind of like showing it to the public to see what kind of feedback I would get. And it was random. It was like I work in a corporate job and they have a big campus out here at the border of North Carolina and South Carolina. And I had an agent that needed to go to a meeting. So I had to walk them to this freaking meeting. And then they're like, hey, do you have something you want to sell? I'm like, no, not really. And they're like, oh, you really? I'm like, well, I guess I have a hot sauce, but I don't really have anything legit for me to sell. And they're like, doesn't matter. This is just a campus employees only. Just bring something. We need more vendors. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. So that's when I set up. There's a couple pictures that I have of that. And, it's like, just figure it out. Just go out there. I was taking Bitcoin at the time for it. And well, Ethereum too, because at that time it was long transactions, so Ethereum was a lot faster. But anyway, so yeah, that's where we started, or I started doing the market at work. And then 3 years later, I believe, is 2017 is when I started doing it like in public and get it out there. Because once I got the feedback, it wasn't just friends and family that loved it. It was like random people that didn't have anything to do with me. They're like, try it and like let me get it on the spot. But anyways, that's cool that you talk about Phish and Fuego. Now I gotta listen to the album, man. You just put
For
something
sure.
else to different. Yeah.
The hot sauce bangs, by the way.
Thank you.
It was that Grassroots conference. The hospitality that like Bitcoin Park had that weekend for us was incredible. The food they were cooking was incredible. And I remember getting to have the hot sauce be part of that experience. Just add it. It was just like yet another, I don't know. It's like embarrassment of riches sometimes with this group where everybody just has something to offer and is so generous with it. And so like they were making all this incredible meat and then, oh, by the way, here's this hot sauce you can dip it in,
Yeah.
and it's it's yours. We spent the day kind of getting to know you and, just all of us sort of building a relatedness together. There's like something special about the way this all gets shared, in my opinion. I don't know. Um,
Yeah. Grassroots, right? That's what I love about it because, as you said, it's just a sharing. You're just breaking bread with your brothers and just sharing what you got. If it's like memories, histories, or something like a hot sauce, man. And it all comes together into like a beautiful day, man. And one of those memories that you never forget. And then I like those a lot more because you develop that bonding so much easier, so much better because you get to spend all day just doing what you love. Just talk about Bitcoin, meet new people, share ideas, concepts, and it's not like running around trying to sell you something. It's like, nah, we're here, we're just enjoying the day. Yeah,
yeah.
those are good.
So you were a Bitcoin guy before you were a hot sauce guy?
So I mean, I gotta think about that one. I think they kind of come together, but definitely it was a hot sauce person before that. My story with Bitcoin is a little different, I think, from what the other ones that I hear. It's a little ridiculous, but then again, I don't know if you guys see me. Some people may. I'm always carrying stickers and putting them everywhere with my hot sauce logo on it.
Yeah.
So I used to live in New York City. I'm from Lima, Peru. I was born and raised there until I was 15 or so, and then I moved to New York City. But then I moved to down south in Charlotte. And I still have family out there. I still do. So I go visit a lot. And when I went to visit, you're like more public transportation, more walking, like you're out and about in the city. It's not like you're in a car all day, like here.
You're saying New York?
Um, New York City,
Yeah,
correct?
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So in my travels, in my whatever I was doing, I would see like a Bitcoin sticker, which I know some of the New York guys, and I never asked like who was putting stickers like back in 2015, 2016 out there, right? And then yeah, I just see it constantly throughout the times that I was visiting people in New York, and then until I was like, all right, well, what the hell is Bitcoin? Let me check it out. Is it a band? Is it something? I don't know what it is. So let me check it out. So then I did my research, and then at that time, a lot of the research was a bunch of bullshit, so I kind of let it go, then revisited again and again, but I never knew anybody in the world of Bitcoin. It was just me and the computer trying to figure this out, right? And it wasn't until maybe 2016 when I was like, oh, you can buy a fraction of this thing. You don't have to buy a whole thing. And again, I made all the mistakes in this world. But that's how you learn, right? By making mistakes.
Yep.
And I did, and just got into it little by little. And then I took the pill, and I started annoying everybody around me in Peru, in my family, my friends. I was that crazy guy that was always talking about some crazy shit. So then I toned it down a little bit. So I wasn't the guy bringing up Bitcoin anymore. And then pandemic comes around. Um, my friends had a big festival during the pandemic when the world shut down. It's like a Burning Man style type of weekend event in a property here in the city. So I went out that way. And then I met somebody um, that mentioned Bitcoin, and it wasn't me. And I was like, am I tripping that hard right now? But I just heard that word. So then the next day, I'm looking for this dude, and then we connected, and that's how I joined Bitcoin Charlotte. And then I was like, wow,
Wow.
this is incredible. There's people in the real world that are as crazy as I am, and obsessed with learning as much as you can about this new thing. And also, help everybody else through the meetups and through all that to not make the mistakes that I made before. It's like I tell my daughter, learn from somebody else's mistakes. And then that's why it allowed me to help that. And then through that, I um, I thought like, okay, well, I'm trying to orange peel my family in Peru, my friends that I grew up with. They want nothing to do with this scam and all that. So I was like, maybe I've been disconnected from that world too much. I've been living in the United States for so long. I just saw what we can do with Bitcoin Charlotte, and then I went into looking for somebody that was Bitcoin only because a lot of Latin America has all the shitcoining um, going on, and in Peru is the same. So I found some people. We started a meetup group called Orange Peel Peru, and started that going on. Just had meetups, had people that like Bitcoin only come through, trying to learn. And through there, I learned about Motiv Peru, joined them as well. Because I'm like anything that relates to something that I like to do, I want to be part of it. I want to help what I can, whether it's connections or my time or whatever I can help with, right? But anyways, that's a long version of all of that.
They must love the hot sauce down there
Oh
in
yeah,
Peru.
yeah, they do.
Um,
Every time I travel, I bring. Oh, I don't have it on me. I bring the little ones that I have that I travel to the conferences, and then when I go to Peru, they always ask me for some. I'm
like little
still not
airplane.
shipping it.
Yeah, like
Yes,
little
yeah, yeah.
airplane bottles.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, I don't know if I told you this. I must have, but like my wife's entire family is from Ecuador.
I believe you mentioned some. Yes, okay,
So
but
like
that's it.
I have an affinity for, and a bit of relatedness for okay, what we would call what northern, northwest South America.
Okay, yeah,
That say to the west of Central America. So you got this Ecuador, Colombia, Peru. I think that is it's definitely a distinct it's a distinct area. It's certainly
yeah,
different from the rest of South America, I think.
yeah.
Um, I don't know a lot about Peru other than the fact that pre-pandemic we were looking at exchanges for my oldest daughter for some reason, so for Spanish speaking exchanges, it was either Spain or Peru for the most part of where my kids, they go to Waldorf schools, and that's where they had relationships. And we were like, I don't know, that almost happened before, but then lockdown just kind of destroyed the whole idea, and she never got to go on exchange, which kind of sucked. But we always kind of have this this idea that we want to go to Peru one of these days. You know, well, I have not been to Ecuador. I have not been to South America. Like I've let them go. I say let them go. A lot of but a lot of the cost of my fiat life was that my family did a lot of vacations without me.
Wow.
And so they did. I think they did 2 trips to Ecuador where I didn't go with them. It was just hard for me to get 2 consecutive weeks off to do something like that, right? So, it's not that it's a regret; it's just that it's something that I still want to do. And,
Yeah, man, you still got time.
Yeah.
Do your kids speak Spanish?
Yeah. So my younger one went to Spain for exchange, and she really developed some pretty. She got very strong over there. My older one, she gets better every year, but like she could hold her own if she had to. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Exhibit A over here, right? It makes it so much easier to be in the place where they speak the language, and so you pick it up pretty quickly. Um, Sometimes people don't believe. Like then, I moved in by 2013. People didn't believe I just came to the country 2 years ago. I mean, I'm sorry, 2003. Yeah, I always get confused with that.
You came here in 2003?
2001 is when I came to the country, but then by 2003, I was speaking it pretty fluently. And my accent always went away, you know. But back in Peru, I listened to a lot of metal music. So, you know, and then we got cable, and it's like, oh, English, you know. So I would absorb the English language a lot before coming here. And then when I came here, I lived in New York City, which was a little harder because I lived like right on Hell's Kitchen, and a lot of my friends were like tourists, you know, and we didn't have any social media, anything like that to communicate at that point. So we just in and out. I didn't have a phone. So, and a lot of the people in New York City is such a melting pot that, you know, spoke Spanish pretty easily. And it wasn't until I moved to Charlotte when I went to high school and everything was in English. So I had to learn and pick it up and absorb it pretty well to the point that I wish I would have learned another language, but because of how stupid that people were in my school in high school, they thought that because my credits that transfer from high school in Peru, one of them was, you know, what you would take as language or English here, over there was Spanish. So they're like, oh, you took Spanish 1, let's put you in Spanish 2 over here. So I was like, I didn't speak English. I was like, sure, you know, let's go. And my parents didn't either. So they weren't involved into a lot of the things I had to do with school, which has pros and cons. You know, if I got suspended, they had no idea what happened when they get a phone call from somebody. I was like, yeah, I'm going to school, and then, you know, come back to the house or something. But anyways,
they said everything's great.
Yeah, everything's good. They're like, yeah, they call for, you know, whatever they're saying. But yeah, so they put me in Spanish 2 class, and when I walk in, it's like I need wait because I'm very literate. You know, there's kids in my age in Peru that couldn't read and write and spell whatnot, but I was pretty good at all of that. So coming into class in Spanish 2 class, I was like, what is going on? You know, I know more than the teacher does, you know.
That's funny.
And you have to have a Spanish name in school. So my name is Jhonny, but it's spelled the Peruvian way. So it's Jhonny, because my parents knew eventually we'll come here. I think that was the idea. But my Spanish name in Spanish class was otorrinolaryngología, which is like the longest Spanish word there is, you know. And then my teacher was like, I can't say that. I'm just gonna call you Otto. You're Otto from now on. And that was the name that stuck. But then I was like, this is a little stupid. So I went to my counselor again. It's like, hey, me, Spanish, good, Spanish 2. And then she's like, she looked at my whatever, and she's like, you're right. Let's put you in Spanish 3. So you bumped me up to Spanish 3. At that point, I was like, I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to stick around here, which was easy for my learning, I guess, because I met a lot of friends, even though I didn't speak English. I met a lot of English speaking people because they were trying to copy from me in class. So I
Mm.
was the one like telling everybody the answers of the test. And then the movie finished four, and then we have a really hot teacher. I was like, I'm staying here. I'm just gonna be the teacher's pet. I'm good. And then I got college credit for AP classes. But anyways, I could have learned a little language, but I didn't. But it's all good.
You wonder why they don't do that more in education. Just use hot
Yeah.
teachers.
Yes. I mean, nowadays seems like there's a lot going on with that.
I got to think about
Um,
that with the Magic Internet Math Academy. Like, I need, yeah, that's gonna need hot teachers,
yeah.
men and
What is
women.
it?
You know, like all you know, alike. But
Yeah, yeah. You
they're
can
much more
satisfy
effective.
everybody's needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People pay more attention for sure.
So okay, so now your dad was a hot sauce. Your dad was the hot sauce guy, and you kind of took it over.
We both do it. So the way that this works is that because he's like me, he's a social guy. He likes to be out there, but he doesn't speak English. This man is 80 years old now, going to 81 this July 4th. So he can't grasp the language anymore. So I was like, all right, well, I'm back in Charlotte. We're doing this hot sauce thing. And I mean, before we doing the hot sauce thing, the purpose of the hot sauce thing was to get my dad out of the house,
Mm.
you know? Like this man is just sitting at home, retired, like being all sad and mopey, watching all these stupid videos all day, whatever. So let this man get out of the house. So we started doing, after I did the ones at the job, then I had to take a decision between staying at the job or taking a paycheck. So once I left the job that I had is when I started kind of going like, okay, I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. I want to kind of explore what else to do. So the hot sauce was one of those things as well. And we started doing just popping up at breweries, popping up little places here and there, signing up for markets. Now we do a lot of the farmers markets. I love music, I love art, so I try to get involved with arts festivals, music festivals, whatever that happens around here. So we try to do this, but it's always been a hobby. It's always been something that I like to enjoy time with my father, and then we go out there and shoot the shit, to some people. I'm like, we're gonna be here anyway, so might as well have the people come here. We have a table instead of trying to go to the people. And still doing that, And then after so many years, um, we learn about what else to do in this world of the hot sauce world. Like I don't go to any conferences or trade shows or anything like that like I do with Bitcoin, so I don't get involved as much into that world. And I heard about a big festival here in North Carolina, and a little too late, but not late for me to submit my hot sauces. I had three at the time. We submitted all three of them. This is about 3 years ago, right? Yeah, 3 years ago, and we won like awards for all of them. It's like two first places and a second place.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so that was amazing. So
What kind of hot
they,
sauces were these? Like, I guess if you don't mind, what were the key peppers? Or
yeah, yeah. So I use one pepper for all of them that I have. My thought is always kind of to stick to that. It might deviate a little bit later on as we keep adding more, but we use it's called rocoto, Rocoto. So it's the family of the Capsicum pubensis. It's a little hairy. It's a big pepper. It looks like almost like a bell pepper, like an apple, and they get bigger than that. So it's the big red rocoto because there's other strains as well. It grows in the Andes of Peru.
huh.
The big red one is the hottest one. But yeah, that's the one we use in all four of them. In Peru, if you ever ask for some type of ají, which is what we call a hot sauce, they'll give you some variation of rocoto with something, either just mashed up with lime juice or water or something with it. It's not big, but it's getting bigger out there. So yeah, so we started with rocoto pepper. The original one has habanero. So habanero and rocoto is the OG, the one we had at the party. It's the one we started with. And then after feedback we got from people, usually it was like, hey, I love your hot sauce. Because back then we also had like a 16-ounce jar. So it would last you forever. Um, Losing a lot of money because I didn't do any of the calculation to how much we charge. I would just put it here and just go out there and sell it. Anyways,
Habaneros are exceedingly cheap, like for you'd say per unit of flavor,
Yes, per
right?
unit. Yes, yeah,
Like an entire pepper is like 60 cents at my supermarket, and it's like it's almost like every single pepper has a story of what it ends up being, right?
yeah,
And one of the, I guess here's the other weird thing about that this hot sauce industry, like um like I find like they tend to be like I don't know, they all tend to like, how do I say this? Like they compete for like weird names like devil's anus and things like that. Like they're really all about like the imagery of just being torture, something like that,
yes.
right? I don't know. It just feels like it's refreshing that you just have a hot sauce that's about tasting awesome and enjoying food, right? That's not competing to like, how much can we shrivel your head or, you know, evoke satanic imagery. I don't know.
Through your asshole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't once I do all these stores or the festivals, like everything's just like the devil's breath. It's like you will whatever, and the labeling was kind of like a culture thing. It's like everybody has some kind of cartoon. No, it's a bunch of AI shit, but everything depicting fire and devils and Satan and yeah,
I
just
can see
like
that being fun for a bit, but getting locked
yeah,
in, you don't want, I guess getting locked into that might be annoying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great that I didn't start from that, right? Because that wasn't like my example of moving into the hot sauce world. It's kind of like Bitcoin. I just did everything myself, and then later I was like, oh, okay, what are you guys doing? Okay, let me mimic, let me help. And the hot sauce was like that. I say, let me just do this. The original label had just like my dad's face on his hand that I put in with like a July 4th hat that he had on for his birthday, and it just said Delgado del Fuego. So that was it. That was the label that we had back then, just like the sticker that slapped on it. Now we have a better one. A friend of mine helps me with it. But yeah, I never thought about putting all kinds of graphics on it or anything like that. Just something simple that catches your attention, catches your eye, like, hey, what's going on there? Um, and yeah, even in the festival, a lot of the people's feedback, we came back the year after we won those awards as a vendor. Um, and it's like, man, I'm going to a hot sauce festival. I went to the festival to receive the awards, and we just went in and out, because they told us, hey, you got to be here you were nominated. Never told us that we won. So you're nominated. It's like, okay, well, I have a farmer's market in the morning. From there, I'm just going to drive 3 hours that way and then see what happens and then drive back the same day. We didn't plan to stay the night or anything like that. So then once we won, like back to back, like I kept walking away from the stage and like, no, 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 come back here. No, no, come back here. It's like, oh, we got more than one awards. And then my dad was wearing the medals and he was just like walking around the whole city going like, yeah, yeah, So all these people were like, hey, come try my hot sauce. Come try my hot sauce. We ended up at a distillery that had mixed hot peppers into their vodka and to the tequila. And they were like, here's some shots. And the guy, the head master brewer there or distiller was like, hey, I was one of the judges for your hot sauce. So very good job. Here you go. He didn't say anything. Yeah, I had no idea. We didn't have any idea they had hot sauce in it. So now we're drinking it. Now we're like dying. Satan's breath was upon us. And I was like, holy shit, man, I can't handle this stuff. I like the heat, but not like, holy crap, what are you doing,
Yeah.
man? So then I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be rude and be like, I don't want to try the hot sauce. I make hot sauce. It's like it's gonna burn up, man. This is it's such a state of mind that you're in that after that I understand when people crave it and look for it, but that's not my thing yet.
Yeah.
Every now and then, everything has its place in time for it. But we also noticed that when people came through our booth, because that was the consensus that I have, like, oh, maybe my hot sauce is not hot enough for these people to like. But whatever, we won awards last year, so let me just write that on the street. Like, this is first place hot sauces from last street. I wrote it with chalk, and people will come through. And a lot of the feedback that I got was that I was like, hey, I go through all these stands, or a lot of them. I wouldn't say all of them, and all it is just a punch to the face. It's just like heat. I don't have flavor, but you have flavor. This is what I want. This is what I love. Like you have both worlds. You have flavor and heat. Let me get some. So yeah, like you said, the culture comes in with like some crazy stuff, and sometimes it relates with the name with the sauce because it's just like Carolina Reapers, ghost peppers, X peppers, like
Oh yeah.
fuck you peppers,
Future
and
is, and yeah, I mean, I do like I understand the desire to prove that I can handle hot sauce.
yeah,
So like that's why those things exist, right? They exist. It's almost like punch me as hard as you can, I can take it.
yeah,
And like there, it's almost like it's like good. It's kind of good, innocent fun, because there's people that do this in more dangerous ways, right? More dangerous ways than eating hot sauce, right?
yes,
Where they sort of prove what they can handle, prove what they can and how much they can ingest or how hard it is. The hot sauce is a nice, innocent way of basically, I don't know, proving that you can take some pain. So like,
yeah,
I get why that whole genre exists. I like that. I like proving that I can handle hot sauce, but at the same time, I wouldn't choose it for my food.
right, exactly,
It's a
yeah,
carnival trick to sort of just prove what you can handle, but I definitely would rather have, like some heatful flavor, right? That's what's all. So like, there's a place for both. I think it's so cool that this is something you did to get your dad out of the house. You were saying, so like,
yes,
my father-in-law has lived with us for 20 years. He
okay,
moved in with us when my youngest daughter was born. Really helped raise my daughters. He is just like this. He is just like your dad and you. He's the extrovert. Like he is in hell here. You know what I mean? Like my kids are grown up, they don't need him anymore, and he will go outside just to talk to anybody who's out walking their dog. He's like the mayor when he goes outside. Everybody loves him.
yeah,
Um, anything he does, like we went to Hawaii a few years ago, and we went to this luau, and he was the star of the whole thing because he was up there on stage dancing, hula hoop, whatever. He's just like that guy.
yeah,
And like he's dying here. Just dying in my basement, watching soccer all day when all he wants to do is be out talking to people. And this is actually a good idea. I'm going to take this to my wife because like she's always trying to think of ways to it. That is the kind of guy you need to get out of the house.
yes,
And I can kind of picture it, right? I just can picture it because my father-in-law is that guy. He's like the mayor. He needs something. I don't know
yeah,
if it's going to be. He can't handle hot sauce. He's also one of those guys like that. His daughter, my sister-in-law, is constantly protecting him from hot sauce. Like you know, constant vigilance. They can't handle, and they know I like everything spicy, right? So they live in the house, and it's like everything has to be cooked separate for him. So it can't be a hot sauce thing. But we got to figure we're sort of on that same mission where we got to figure out how to get this guy out of the house and just talking to people.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you describe my dad. He's the same way, he starts dancing. We're over here like, oh man, we're like, and then that's why what is it that Jack Muller says? It grinds my gears when people are like, oh, I'm too old to do this. I'm like, shit. Yeah, okay, that's no, that's not a thing. Um, that's I remember when in Peru, funny enough, my dad and my aunt would go to these parties for like the elderly. And these are like matinee, it starts at like 1 to 5, and there's two ambulances outside just in case somebody breaks something at the dance floor.
Yeah,
Literally, man. I'm like, yeah, there's not such a thing as I'm too old for this. That's a state of mind.
that's like they had the medical tent already,
Oh yeah,
already
ready
waiting.
to go, ready to go. And then my aunt, rest in peace, her her dude was like very old, and he would be the one the tent was for. He was just dancing. Oh, hip just broke. Okay, just take him to the tent right quick, patch him up, bring him back into the floor. Not really, but he was done for the day. But yeah, it was hilarious because I'd never seen anything like that. I was like, oh, okay, these guys are going dancing. I was like, I'll go with you guys. Why not? Let me check out the scene in the elderly world. And I was like, holy crap. There's a lot of people here just dancing and or just standing like this, but they're dancing. They're doing something.
People like, yeah, I mean, something that I wouldn't have really known a lot about, but like in Latino culture, you don't put your parents in a nursing home. They
Yeah,
live
no.
with you.
Yes.
They live with you. They want to help. And it's just the value is they live with you and you take care, you take care of the old people.
Yeah.
And they are, but they still want to party.
Yes. Yeah. They still want to party. Yeah, I just recently lost my grandpa, which is he was the one, he's the reason why my family's here. My mom's side of the family, right? My mom's dad. And it was like he's a G, man. He went out. I'm like, if I ever go out at 95 years old, I want to go out like this guy did. Just in peace. We watched like the Maradona Hand of God game. That was like the last thing we shared before 2 days before
Wow.
he passed, and
Oh
like
man.
he was still there just chilling, like, hey. And then he had cancer, really bad cancer that deteriorated him, and he was in a lot of pain. But I moved to New York. I mean, I was going to move to New York to help him out, but through things that happened, it accelerated the whole process. And he lived in one of these old buildings in Hell's Kitchen that they had no elevator. He lived in the fifth floor. So you got this 95-year-old man going up and downstairs, getting groceries. He lived by himself
Ugh.
pretty much. He lived with my uncle, but my uncle was a professor out there, so he's always out of the house.
It's wild,
Anyways,
dude. By the way, I lived in
it's
a fifth floor walk up in New York,
yeah,
and I was 25 years old, and it sucked.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah, that
I
was, I'm
can't
like,
believe
I
it. I
need
can't
to move
imagine.
there.
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah. I think that's what made him the healthiest out of all of us, but cancer got him, you
mm.
know. But yeah, so even that was always the thought because like taking him out of his element, like this man, he went to Peru and unfortunately he got stuck because right before he was coming back, the pandemic shut down the world.
Mm.
So he stayed there. And luckily, my cousin was there with her kids, but my grandpa was the one because Peru was pretty hardcore with their curfews and their lockdowns. But my grandpa was brought by the cops almost every day because he would escape. He would just like get out of the house and go do his thing. And he was in curfew, so the cops had to bring him back. He's like, you gotta obey curfew like almost every day. My cousin's like, I don't know how he got out. He was in his room upstairs, and all of a sudden he's cops knocking on the door 2 hours later, like, here's your grandpa. Like make sure he stays home. But yeah, bringing him kind of like you're saying, here in Charlotte is you have a car for stuff. There's no public transportation as of the big city. Things close early. There's not much going on. Like if you walk around, you get bored. I mean, it's nice and everything, but when you go look around in a big city, there's so much things to see. You forget that you're walking. And my grandpa loved doing that stuff. So that's why I was like, okay, let me go to New York. But then thinking about any issues we'll have at the fifth floor with no elevator, no emergency, like that's gonna be a little tough. But yeah, anyway, so we ended
brutal.
up bringing him
You'd have
here,
to probably
and
think about how badly. Man, I remember I would like leave my wallet or something like that, and I'd be like, how bad do I really need this?
that's right.
You
You
know,
going back up for this? Oh my God, yeah, that's true.
it's
Yeah,
amazing. It's pretty incredible. My wife's mom is the one who came over here. She is the most based person probably in the history of, definitely her family. She came over and brought everybody. They lived in the Bronx and
okay,
they were a cab family. So like she drove a cab and then she had two sons that drove cabs. This is all right into like, right into Uber, kind of like killing cabs, right? But like they spent their entire time here saving for a medallion, and they were driving cabs around the Bronx, but also like every year they would go to Ecuador, come back with like a bunch of stuff, and then just sell it in their cab route, right?
Oh, smart. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
cigarettes,
smart.
like you name it, right? I mean, so her mom like was the one who like she really made it. Like she knew how to do it, made it, didn't give any fucks, and everybody respected her or feared her or something. And when she died, it was like the whole neighborhood like came out to pay respects to her. There was a percentage because she, and her she used to drive her car around, and every once in a while would pull up to somebody and with her horn go like dun 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 dun, dun like, and when she died, there was a whole bunch of people that drove in a procession just doing that horn thing around the South Bronx where they lived. It was pretty wild. But I kind of get it. Like when you have that person, it takes that person who's like larger than life to come here and build it. And it's
Yes.
just, they don't even have a vision for what they're building. They just want their family with them. Typically, they're just like, I just know I want my family here. So like, we're going to figure out how to bring them all over. Right.
Right.
And, I think that, all of her kids, including my wife, are like, they're like LARPs. They're like LARPs when it comes to being based relative to her. Like she was the real deal.
Yeah.
And, I guess she did it so that the rest of them could sort of be a little more comfortable. And, but like, I'm sort of telling them all, like, you guys have no idea. Like, Olga's, like, she was the one, like, she's the only one who would have made it as a Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Because she had that, like, she had that survival instinct, that will. She was strong. And I think that's like, all of us are trying to figure out how to be that strong to do what we're doing here. Because that's what it is. You're going out on the frontier into uncertainty and building something on terrain you don't understand. And so I feel like at some level, we're all trying to be like that.
Yeah. Pioneers, man. We are. I mean, in one way or another. Um, but yeah, I think about that a lot as well. That it's like I feel like I'm the one now that would like to get my family somewhere else. Just like the way that things go in this country, but then also where to go is the question. If there is any other place, Hmm, who knows?
Well, it's why it's good to be plugged in with the meetup scene.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Good thought.
And
Yes, because you want to know what boots on the ground is really happening without everything else the media tells you, right? Like yeah, for sure.
and you could move anywhere and start a meetup and build a community.
Hmm.
Like you really can move anywhere and build. You'll find the Bitcoiners there who want to build a
Yeah,
community.
yeah. That's what a big plus that you can just find minded people and just, you know, three, five, six, and it just keeps going.
I
Just
just
find
wonder,
them.
like, I think about it a lot. Like, if my wife's mom, if we had Bitcoin, 50 years ago, um, her life wouldn't have been as hard, right? It just would have been it just would have been such a different story. I mean, there's so much story of people coming here from South America and sending money back. Like, and
Yeah.
that's just so much. That's so much of that experience. We're still doing it, Um, my great grandmother came here she was put on a boat from like the Ukraine at the age of 10 by herself with 5 diamond stones sewed into her pillowcase.
Wow.
And like, it's just a stupid miracle that she made it. And I think about, so this is like, when I think about Bitcoin, these are the stories I think of, this is what it's about for me. Like, if I need to bounce or if I need my family, I really need to get somebody in my family out of here, even if they're 10 years old. I mean, can you imagine that? Right. So to me, I don't know, it all matters a lot. And everything we're building with culture is just like it's just an important part of it. So food, music, everything, meetups, everything we're doing is building. Like when I go back and say, man, what if we had Bitcoin 100 years ago when my great grandmother was put on that boat, right? Which they could have just, given her a song to remember and sing to herself or something like that, right? They could have, I just think of all these people who got here who under
Hmm.
like against all odds. Well,
Yes.
maybe it doesn't have to be against all odds now. Maybe people can
Yeah.
actually move places when they have to and actually have a decent shot of still
Right.
having a life.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying all that because there's a deeper way, to think about Bitcoin, and that's what it is. Like, in I always say when I moved from Peru to here, it was like time travel because there's a lot of things that we didn't get at that time. Internet would just start to get going. Now it's a little balanced, but it's like just to go from there to here. And then I'm like, I kind of now in my older age, I'm like, I kind of miss that. There was more community, more of that. Here it's like we're so connected, but we're fucking disconnected. And the meetups help that because now you're gathering people regularly, and sometimes it's new, sometimes it's old, but there's always that consensus. Everybody just meets in person instead of just texting or whatnot. And it keeps growing, and then you go to another place, and then you just find another meetup, and you just walk right in like you know each other, because you got that like-minded thing, and that's what I missed about a lot of the things that when I was growing up, like even like church, everybody congregates there. It's like everybody knows what's going on, like even for good or bad, because it's such a small community of my neighborhood. Like we knew what's going on everywhere. We get into fights, but there was that sense of community. Here it's just like, I don't know where my neighbor is over here, over there,
Yeah. Yeah. The
the
US
bigger the
is
city, the
not
worse.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like when you live in New York, people will say the most if you want to be super like you want to be as private as you want to be, like the most private place you could be is like on a crowded subway train.
Right.
And it's just because nobody cares what you like the idea is no one cares what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to know what you're doing. Nobody wants to even look at you. And it's like, it's an old cliche of like, you could be so alone in the middle of all those people, but it is like that. Um, yeah, if you go out to rural America, it's more like community,
Yes.
but that's changing.
Yeah. Rapidly. Yeah, you can still find it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
guessing
yeah.
you don't have to
Uh,
go too far in Carolina to get to see that to see like
no,
spiritual.
not too much. Probably like an hour drive radius or less than that. Depends which way you go. But Charlotte's growing and expanding. Like you said, it is going that way. So less and less, but you can still find some communities. Where here in North Carolina, sometimes like, oh, I should probably not be here.
Are you
But
settled, or are you looking to still find your place?
good question. I think I'm always. This is one thing I think I tell my daughter. I was like, life is not meant to be lived in one place, you
Yeah.
know. So definitely would like to always trying to find. I mean, I never left America. I've been up and down North, South, North America. So I've never been to Europe, Asia, Africa, anything like that. So I would love to see what's going on out there at some point, and that's kind of an idea that I had at one point. It's like, once my parents are taken care of, maybe I'll go 2 years over here and 2 years over there and 2 years over there. I mean, my daughter's 21 years old now, so
Oh
she's,
wow.
yeah, exactly. Believe it or not.
My oldest one's about to turn 21 in a month.
Yeah, yeah,
Wild.
yeah. It is wild, man. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, I want her to do the same, go explore the world, go see, because you always want them to have what you didn't have, but then you get that learning from experiencing life, then you're like, okay, well, maybe you do what you want to do, but there's a whole world out there. You should probably see what's going on there, because that's what teaches you the most in life is
Yeah.
travel and getting to know the people and see other things and see how really things are in other worlds. Um, but for me, sometimes I think about. maybe living here for 6 months and living somewhere like Peru for 6 months. I mean, I'm already a citizen here and there, so might as well makes it easier for me, you know. And then I go travel with the conferences that I go to speak about Motiv Peru or talk about the hot sauce and go to Mexico, Colombia, El Salvador, and like, oh man, every time I go somewhere new, I'm like, I'm in love with this place. I'm gonna stay here. Why not? Like the first time I went to El Salvador, I almost never came back. I was like, oh, they're offering me this and this, and I can do my hot sauce here. And then real estate, you don't need a license. I'm like, holy crap, and taxes, like what's going on here? They did let me step away and not drink the Kool-Aid yet, Let me just take a step back and then enjoy where I'm at and then always look at things like in different perspectives, which is easier for me too, because as a tourist going over there, I speak two languages. So it made me easier to get lost and go look for the locals and then disconnect from the Bitcoin world to really see what's happening behind the scenes. Because when you are with Bitcoiners, everything's great, and especially somewhere where you're connecting, it's like, oh, it's amazing, it's all good. But making a move to a place like that, like, okay, let me just see what's really going on. How the people that are from here are living and what they think about all the changes that are happening. Um, but Peru, man, is an amazing place. I always recommend it to everybody. I can help you, anybody that wants to go to Peru, I can help you get there, work with tourist companies, you can pay in Bitcoin, all that stuff.
Oh my God,
But
dude, we're so doing. I'm telling you,
yeah,
my family, we will do this. We absolutely want to go to Peru.
yeah.
Um, I mean, being able to do it in like a Bitcoin context
Oh, dude, yeah.
is
Yeah, that can definitely be arranged. We have like 16 communities now throughout the whole country, jungle, mountains, coast. And when people come, they usually want to go see all the cultural sightseeing, Machu Picchu, Huacachina, Nazca lines, you name it. There's so
got to
many
do
things
that
you can
too.
see there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, of
got
course.
to do that.
Um, but then the thing, there's still little spots, like Bitcoin spots around those that you can always see, or you can, yeah, just there's different experiences for everybody. How do you want to spend your time too, because time matters. And sometimes people come through there for like a whole month or like a week or 2 weeks. So then you get to see exactly what would be best for your trip. Either way, you'll have a good time because good food is everywhere, good people. We had about a party or three parties every day of the year celebrating something. So yeah, you always have like people are very nice. Um, at least that's the feedback I always get, they have a good time and they would love to go back. But anytime you want to, just let me know. Give me the word and we'll figure something out.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go in September this year. So it's around my birthday. With Motiv Peru, we're doing a big event called Copa Surf. So Copa Bitcoin is a big surfing cup. It started last year in a place called Huanchaco, which is up north. They have the widest wave in the world. And it was a success. It was pretty good. The city itself, where the event was held, was very welcoming, and a lot of businesses started accepting Bitcoin. It just blew up. So we're doing it again this year, bigger and better. September 19th and 20th.
Mm.
There might be a couple of days before that. There's going to be maybe like a mini conference in a way, have speakers or have somebody talk some things like that. Still figuring all that out. But I know some people told me they want to come and see it, so we're like putting some packages together so you can go to Huanchaco and still see some things. So cause you have to go to Lima. That's the international airport. So even Lima, you can kind of go around with some of the centers that we have with Motiv Peru and see how Bitcoin is being used and what people are doing there. And same thing in Cusco. When you go to Valle Sagrado, Machu Picchu, there's still other areas too. So you can incorporate everything within it. So if you go into like the mindset, like, hey, I want to spend with Bitcoin, I want to do Bitcoin stuff, but also want to see some sightseeing, like it's all intertwined together. So should
Yeah.
be pretty cool. I'm hoping to go. I'm still trying to figure all that out. But yeah, if anybody wants to go, please feel free to reach out. I'll send you some information. I'll send you the packages that we came up, but it's all customized. We can customize it as you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We would. do it like during a time where my kids are in school. My wife works; she's an educator. I'm the only guy that can go whenever he wants, and I might just do that by myself. I might have to do a trip before, and then scope it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
that's
because I
true. Yeah,
can.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if there was a conference, I would probably, that would seem like a good time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as close to it. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the Phish show.
Okay. Yes.
Because it like, you talk about how when you were saying, oh man, when you realized that people were sort of doing the Bitcoin work without you there, and you're like, wow, this is nice. This is already, I don't even have to be the one doing this. When I found out that when I found out that Liz took you to the Phish show that night, I was like, oh my God, people are going to shows now, and I don't have to be the one wringing their necks to go. It's pretty great. It delighted me to know that you went and experienced that. So I'm just curious about your recap. I'm curious about your experience there.
Yeah, of course. First of all, I had to give out a big shout out to my friend Brandon. Um, and Liz, of course. Brandon helped us with the tickets.
Oh, we
Liz
heard
asked
about,
for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
guys got hooked up pretty great.
hooked up pretty awesome, man. So shout out to him and Toma and Liz for asking for it, because we last year I was like, yeah, we have to go to a show. We have to go show at the Sphere. That seems like an amazing place to see a show. But the only thing they have is country music, and like, I don't know, maybe, but I wasn't really too fun to it. So we went to see whatever the generic show was at the Sphere, just to see everything, right? My cousin's an AV guy, so he's always throwing at me all this audiovisual. I'm a big nerd with that stuff too. So I was like, yeah, I gotta see this
Hmm.
immaculate thing that they made here. So then the conference comes back again. It's like, this is the first thing I looked at. It's like, who's gonna be at the Sphere? So Phish. So I looked at Phish. I was like, okay, cool. Let me get tickets. Sold out. Oh, fuck, great. All right, immediately. It's like, it's already sold out. What's going on here? Yeah, and then to have that as to be the pretty much the introduction to like such an awesome week, a Bitcoin week, to be Phish. And then I was clueless in the connection with the whole Bitcoin and Phish thing, which was in my mind since that night. We ran into Craig. He does the programming at the conference, and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, like I knew he was a big Phish guy. And it's just like talking about him and Dan, and we're just talking about everything that's going on, man.
So
I
cool.
was like, wow, I had no clue. And then I went to the show, and my mind was blown. So far, it's the best show I ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of shows, man. I love live music,
That's
but
so great. It was a way
it was
better
great.
show than the one I went to. I have to
Yeah.
I mean, like everything happens for a reason, and I'm grateful
Yes.
for what I got to experience. But you guys really objectively got like an incredible show.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
We were right next to a dude. The guy that's sitting right next to me said so we went on Saturday, right? Yeah. So, and then there were three shows after that. So that was his number 196 show that
Yeah.
he's seen Phish. He was a hardcore fisher.
Nice.
So he was like, hey, check this out. And then this. And then he's like, you see the guy right behind us? He's the guy that does the effects. And then look at him play. So we're just staring at him instead of everything in front of us. And it was great. It was, he kind of let me have my experience at the same time. He's like, I've been this through a while. It's your first time. This is amazing. So it was cool to find people around that I didn't know either. And then just like have a great time. And then I met you, and then you were talking about, or we talked about Phish. I was like the same thing. I'm like, wow, I didn't know you like I'm orange or whatever you call fish pilling people at the meetups. I was like, wow.
Let's just talk their ear off. I mean, I had some psychotic thing come over me when I got into Bitcoin, which was that a lot of, I mean, look, when I got into Bitcoin, I was trying to make sense out of everything again. Okay. Cause like for me, it was like, my understanding of the world was developed without this thing. And now I'm told this thing has existed and exists now. And it's like, okay, I had to rebuild my understanding of everything. And a big part of my life, I mean, I've been seeing Phish for 30 plus years.
Wow.
It's very formative for me. And part of me was trying to understand them again, just like everything else I was trying to understand. And I was seeing a lot of connections. I was seeing things, and I started writing about them and started annoying people in my meetups about them. And nobody wanted to hear it. And, 3 years later, we decided to start the podcast, Jason and I. And next thing you know, we're 42 episodes in, and we all are in Vegas, and everyone seemingly is talking about Phish at the Bitcoin conference. So like that, it's just one of those beautiful things where it really is like, if you insist, like if you sometimes just impose your will enough on the universe, you might actually make a dent. Yeah. There's that saying, the reasonable man, like conforms himself to the world, whereas the unreasonable man forces the world to fit him, and therefore all progress relies on the unreasonable man. I'm the unreasonable man in this scenario. And it was just so like every data point, every time I see somebody going to the show, it meant so much to me.
Yeah.
Because it's just like really validated the connection. It was just like beautiful to see you and Liz and Dan, and then Liz came back, and all the people we went to our show with, and that was really special as well. So we were saying we got to keep this going. It's pretty unlikely that Phish will be in Nashville next year with the conference, but if that were to happen, oh my God, I think I might just lose my mind completely. But we'll have to figure out something. We'll all have to go see a band. We made a pact. We all made a pact.
I am down for that for sure.
Yeah. Now you're already, so it's like you and Liz are like the original group for this, because you guys went last year and then you went again this year. So yeah, we made a pact, and now we're all part of it.
Yes. Can't wait, man. Can't wait for Nashville. I'm glad that it's going to be there now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Vegas kind of warmed. I've been to Vegas. Almost every time I went to Vegas was to see Phish, starting in 1998.
Wow.
Yeah. It's almost every trip I've made was for that purpose. And it's been quite a few times. I didn't need to go back ever again. Like, I think the last time I went was 2016 for Phish, 4-night Halloween run. And I don't think I was like, I don't ever have to come back to Vegas ever again. And then last year they put the Bitcoin conference there. I was like, ugh, really? Ugh. All right. The Venetian brings back memories, and it started to warm on me. I think just because we all had such a good time this year, it started to warm on me. But I don't ever need to go to Vegas ever again. In fact, now that I've seen the Sphere, I get it. I'm kind of like, I get it. It's almost dangerous. It's almost dangerous to go too many times.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It's
I can
like,
see that.
It's such a leap forward in the experience, like in a concert experience, that I'm actually grappling with how I'm going to go back to watch a regular show.
Yeah, I mean, my bar started pretty high with the Phish show. Pretty high.
What I was saying to all the guys, like I was saying to Liz, and last night we had Greaser on. You definitely also, so you checked off a box. You went to a Phish show, right? You want to go to one where all you do is watch the band, and it's not all of the other extracurricular stuff going on. So like, you definitely want to get one more box check where you see Phish, not in the Sphere, where it's just you and the band and the normal light show.
Yeah. So why always Vegas? Do they only play in Vegas?
No, but they had, so that Halloween tradition that I talked about ended up
Mm-hmm.
becoming that ended up becoming a Vegas tradition. So in '98 they played the Thomas and Mack Center. They came back in '04, not for Halloween, but they did a 3-night run in Vegas. And then when they came back after they broke up, it was they were playing at the MGM. Whenever they did their Halloween runs, they would do it. So in Vegas, Phish plays all year round, all over the country and Mexico. But Vegas is one of those special runs that they do because it's usually around. It had previously been around this Halloween tradition, and where they would play a cover album that was always really special, and now it's with the Sphere, which is really special. So that's really all that is. Phish has a summer tour this summer where they're playing, something like 20 cities.
Okay. I'll have to check it in. Yeah, now that I remember that you mentioned Mexico, I had a friend of mine that I met, and she was going to a Mexico resort to see Phish for a weekend, and I almost went to that. But it just didn't align with my schedule. That would have been my first time, but hey, so
That's
was the next
crazy
time.
time. You go for you basically go and everyone's on the resort for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, especially
Okay.
if you're a social guy, you'll end up meeting everybody on that island or everybody on the resort. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
But
mean, well, how can we get Phish in Nashville next year? It's only July.
so this is now, I'm putting this in Craig's lap.
Yes. Yes. Craig, come on, man.
We have to figure this out somehow. Like, this is where, yes, now we have to impose our will on the universe even more and try to make this happen. Because that would be unbelievable. That would truly, truly be unbelievable. Somehow Phish comes again in Nashville.
Just be part of the conference now at that point.
I was saying
Wow.
that maybe they get Nakamoto to name the arena, and then they start treating them very well. That's usually how this happens. They start treating Phish very well, right? They put Craig in charge, and they start treating Phish very well. And Phish is like, "Okay, when do you want us to come?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah, something like that. That's clearly how this will happen.
I mean, we'll put it out there, it'll happen, put it out into the universe.
You got to put it out first, and then you have to
Yes.
really believe, and then
Exactly.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
This has been awesome, man. I really, really, really enjoyed this, and
Yeah, me too, man. This is great.
I hope that people want to go buy your hot sauce. And I guess
Yes.
can you send me a link I can put in the show notes so that people can buy your hot sauce or go to Peru or whatever it is that you
Oh,
want
yeah.
people to know?
Yeah, for sure. I'll send you all the links. So wanted to give myself a plug when I'm here.
Yeah.
A couple of things I'm working on. So we're doing the Bitcoin market, which was rebranded as the local block market. Right now, we have a lot of vendors very interested. We had about 32 vendors right now, and many different things that sold for Bitcoin. And it will be on Sunday, May 23rd, and Sunday, July 26th. Here in Charlotte at a brewery called Old Maker Brewery. It's going to be from 12 to 5. So if you're around, come. If you want to be a vendor, let me know. If you're a merchant that sells Bitcoin products or whatnot, I'm also looking. We have a vendor that has a booth that she'll collect people's products and resell them. That'll be in July 26th, so give some time for people to come do that. And then I'm trying to get my hot sauce in Pubkey, and I love those guys. Cool. I set up my table there a few times, and then I was thought like, okay, well, they never had a Spanish only event, so I'm organizing one called Bitcoin en Español. It's going to be July 11th at the Pubkey in New York City.
I'm gonna
So
definitely gonna try to go to that if I can.
yes,
If I
please
can, I would
do.
love to go to that.
Yeah, I'll send you links for all of it. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely, man. And you know what? Their food is really good. I don't know if you've been.
Yes.
Their food is great.
Yes.
Dirty Dogs and their burgers are great. And
Yeah.
your hot sauce belongs.
That's
just belongs
right.
there. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah, just right before signing on to this, I'm preparing to send them some samples for the DC location so they can try it out and see what we can work with together. And that's one thing that one of the guys from New York City put in my head, doing beefsteak. He's like, hey, so how many Bitcoin food related companies are you wanting to work with? I'm like, never really thought about that. And of course, Pubkey popped in my head, Forking Coin. And I was like, after that,
Yep.
I don't know any other ones. So I need to research them. So out there, if you're in the Bitcoin world, food wise, let me know if you want to partner with a hot sauce. That would be amazing.
Yo, let's do this.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Anything else?
Uh, oh, yes, here. So this shirt, this logo was made by one of my really good friends.
This is going to be
And that
audio
dude,
only. This is audio only, by the way. But
oh, this is audio only. Okay,
that's
well,
okay. Yeah. But Johnny's pointing to his shirt. He's got his
I'm pointing to a
Delgado
shirt that I have on.
Fuego shirt.
In my website, and I have multiple different designs that I did. This one is on the Pedro. It has the llama looking all psychedelic. A friend of mine designed this for us just for fun a couple years back. Unfortunately, he was shot and paralyzed just walking around here in Charlotte. So I made it to when I put all the t-shirts just not too long ago, whatever profit I make from this t-shirt, I'm gonna donate to his medical bills. So
Oh
if
man.
you guys want a Delgado's Fuego t-shirt or just donate to this GoFundMe, everything is on the website. That it'll be in the show notes.
Yes.
And it's the t-shirt that says Pedro's t-shirt.
Is that a llama on the t-shirt that I'm looking at right now?
Yes, it's a llama looking on Peruvian-born psychedelic.
Nice. So you should
Yeah,
go look up. Phish has a song called Llama, and it's banging.
dude, come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
that's
It's
funny.
what a perfect way to maybe a
What
perfect
if,
way.
is that in the Fuego album?
No, Llama is like
Okay,
one of their. I don't. It's on. I think it's on an old album called "A Picture of Nectar."
okay,
But you want to get like a live version. I'll send you a live version that's
okay.
worth it. Yeah,
I got
it's
a lot
killer.
to listen to now, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the Fuego album and then send me that live version.
Nice.
So usually when I'm cooking the hot sauce, which I'll get to make one today after this, I just play music. That's like it's like my ritual
That's your
with my
thing.
dad. We're making, yeah. So send me what you got, and we'll jam to this or
Hell yeah.
sauce to it. Yeah,
All right, man. Great stuff.
dude. Thank you so much for having me. Hope to see you again soon. Definitely another fish show sometime. That'd be a good experience to have together.
Oh, we're so
Great
doing
to
it.
meet you better, man. I'm glad that we shut the shed like this, man. This is great. Thank
We're
you so
so doing
much.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.